It's a new dawn, it's a new day, but will there be new life in this first round playoff series for the Athens Rock Lobsters after the Pee Dee IceCats did a number on them last night? The team will be desperate to prove that this season is not a rehash of last year, but it's time to do or die and show it on the ice. Will the Lobsters send the series back to the Classic City with some momentum, or will the Cats ice it in front of their home fans? Good evening, Crustacean Nation, and welcome to your view of the Florence Center in the Pee Dee region of South Carolina, where the Pee Dee IceCats host your Athens Rock Lobsters for Game 2 of the Commissioner's Cup quarterfinals. The IceCats hold a one-game lead. As always, my name is Mateen Rad, and I'm bringing you this FPHL action live on the ARL Network. Let's start the show with the Piedmont Athens Regional pregame show. Unfortunately, you cannot really talk about tonight's game without mentioning last night. Let's take a look at the highlight reel here. Playoff hockey had arrived back in the Classic City for Game 1 inside the tank. IceCats in town, and the Rock Lobsters looking to build momentum before the series shifted back here to Pee Dee. But it's the visitors who land the first punch. Vadim Frolov finishes off a slick feed from Alexander Letkoff, and Pee Dee opens the scoring. Athens, though, able to formulate a response. Philip Virgili, right place, right time on the power play. Buries the rebound off Maye on the power play, and we're tied at 1. Second period now, and Letkoff stays hot. Threads another setup, this time to Dennis Zajac. IceCats retake the lead, but here comes Virgili again. Second of the night, and same story. Another finish, another power play goal, and another Maye setup, and we're level once more. But Pee Dee will keep coming and coming. Through the neutral zone they go, and this time Letkoff does it himself. He'd have a goal and 4 assists on the night. IceCats reclaim the lead, and ultimately they never looked back. Third period and all season long, this is where Athens has thrived. But this time, Pee Dee flips the script. 30 seconds in, Gullo makes it a 2-goal game. 30 seconds later, Marcinkiewicz cashes in off a fortunate bounce. And just like that, another minute ticks by. Popoff goes top shelf. 3 goals in a blink, and the tank goes quiet. And ultimately, Garrett Rutledge would pull Carter McPhail from the crease. There was no way back for Athens. The IceCats take game 1 in commanding fashion, and now it's win or go home. And after the games last night, let's take a look at the bracket as it stands. Binghamton already through a decisive Game 3 between Blue Ridge and Port Huron tonight. A very similar scoreline to the Athens PD game last night between the Moccasins and the River Dragons, with the latter winning 8-3 in Game 1. Let's break down some keys to the game, or RAD's rules, we'll call them, as the lights go out here in the Florence Center, and there is a roar among those who are cheering on this PD team. Game 2 comes down to 5 things, in my opinion, for Athens. First, eliminate the odd man rushes that burned them in Game 1. Second, break the IceCats forecheck and get cleaner exits. Third, restore the form to your 5-on-5. The team flipped the script last night and executed more on the man advantage, but it didn't end up working in the team's favor. Fourth, survive those early minutes of each period where momentum can swing. And finally, be stronger in front of your own net. If the Lobsters can clean that up, they can erase the damage done from last night, and it's a brand new ball game for Game 3 back in Athens. More of a size and physicality starting lineup in tonight's Aikens Ford engine starters. Leafers, Mack, and Calgin with Greco and Paralat. And look, you stick with who got you here, and it's tough not to stick with Carter McPhail in spite of the uncharacteristic performance last game and getting hooked for the first time this season. McPhail hopes to bounce back here in the Florence Center. Lineup more or less the same from last night, except former IceCat Matt Sales will back up McPhail tonight. The starting lineup is brought to you by Aikens Ford, and if you need a pickup to your day, week, month, or year, come make a deal for a pickup truck at the biggest and best Ford dealership in the Peach State. That's Aikens Ford. That does it for tonight's Piedmont Athens Regional Pregame Show. Piedmont, real change lives here, pardon me. We'll leave you with a little bit of atmosphere before puck drop, and that's coming up soon, a pregame ceremony here in the Florence Center.
IceCats fans, it is time to get some please stand and join us in a moment of reflection for all those that have served and are currently serving our country. We'd also like to honor the life of Florence County and lifeguard paramedic Ralph Fuller Jr. Thank you. Fans, please remain standing. Gentlemen, remove your hats as we honor America with our national anthem brought to you by Austin Wilson State Farm and being performed tonight by Mr. Bill Connolly. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at its twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, where so gallantly streaming, and the Rockies red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
It is raucous here tonight in the Florence Center, and the Lobsters are hoping that they can rock that energy right out of this building. It's a building where the Rock Lobsters have had some pretty good success in the regular season, but with this kind of energy and this playoff atmosphere, it might be a little different than what the Lobsters are used to. Looks like we got Miss Pee Dee in the house. Ceremonial puck drop between Carter Shinkarik and Nick McGill-Diaz, the two captains for these respective teams. I want to thank all of you for watching wherever you're watching from tonight, whether it be here in the building, one of the watch parties that's going on, or just in the comfort of your home. We are very, very appreciative of those of you who tune in to the broadcast here. Fingers crossed that it's not the last one. The Rock Lobsters fighting for their lives tonight. Do or die in the Florence Center. What did Ted Lasso say in the show? Have the memory of a goldfish. Yesterday was a different game. Bring something different today. Both teams going with pretty physical lineups right out of the gate here. We'll see if this is a tone-setting shift to start this game, and we're underway for Game 2 of the quarterfinal series in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs between the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Pee Dee IceCats. Up the right wall, cut out by Athens. Here comes John Calgin, enters in on the right side of the line. Already seeing some hits on the forecheck for the Athens Rock Lobsters. We saw a lot of that in last night's game, but perhaps we saw even more of it from Pee Dee. Nick Gullo wipes out right in front of the penalty boxes, but from a prone position is able to dump it in. Gullo with his first goal last night since February 27th. Talk about a big one. He was that first goal in the third period where the Pee Dee IceCats would end up scoring 3 goals in a matter of 2 minutes. Right now there's 35 seconds gone, and the Athens Rock Lobsters and the IceCats are both still looking for their first shots on net. Actually, the ice is looking much better here in the Florence Center. I've heard they've brought in a specialist over the past couple of weeks to work on this sheet, and they've also bought a new Zamboni. We'll see if that manifests itself in better ice quality tonight. Forward with a touch, but nothing more. Zychek gives it right back to the former MVP, but Lowell's in an offside position. Going through the slot, his own slot, Alexander Ledkoff was the star of the show last night, a goal and 4 assists. First star performance. One of the top 5 goal scorers in the FPHL this year. Ford stops the pass from Lowell. Whisked in from Carter Shinkarik. Tangle up there between Ledkoff and Malik Johnson. Into the far side corner, Patrick Marcinkiewicz, 2-goal night for him last night. Shinkarik staples his man to the wall. Patrick Marcinkiewicz to the point for Miguel Diaz. Still awaiting the first shot on net here. Garrett Milan with the back check, doing some defensive work behind the goal line. Good cutout there by Shinkarik. Gus Ford trying to get the bus rolling down the road. Pokes it into the corner for Johnson. He looks like he's wearing number 22 tonight. Very, very interesting. Malik Johnson with a change of numbers. Also interesting that it's a whiteout here in the building as we see Patrick Marcinkiewicz drive the net, and then McPhail will cover. PD fans wanted a penalty. Yeah, a whiteout night here tonight at the Florence Center. However, the Rock Lobsters are the team in white. According to our stats, still waiting for the first shot on net. That was probably as close as we've come to it. That drive to the crease from Patrick Marcinkiewicz. He's been one of the best players, if not the best player, in 2026. Block shot on the effort from Dom Della Savita. Turnaround effort that time from Noah Robinson. Croucher, tricky, shifty. And he gets a hit from Nick Gullo, 2 men of similar stature there. Boards get rocked on a hit in the corner. Great passing play, and it somehow doesn't go in. Was a lot of net there for Gullo to aim at, and then we see the redirect from the slot over the bar by Welsh. Rock Lobsters, no two ways about it, get away with one there. And Malik Johnson's got a hold of 2 different PD players right in front of the IceCat bench. Luke Croucher was laid out with a hit right in front of the PD bench, and then Malik Johnson will send himself to the box, trying to make up for his teammate there. Pee Dee IceCats will have the first power play of the night. And interesting enough, the Rock Lobsters, while they were dominated in game 1, 8-2, it was still a night where they won the special teams. Pee Dee's power play went 0 for 6. Rock Lobsters' power play went 2 for 6. Johnson, the call is unsportsmanlike conduct. So 2 minutes for tonight's number 22. McPhail with a good stop there on Patrick Marcinkiewicz's shot from in front of the left circle. Face-off win in the offensive zone for Pee Dee, but it's drawn all the way back to Miguel Diaz in the middle ice. Diaz feeds Patrick Marcinkiewicz. So tricky, so glidey in the way that he approaches the game in both his stick handling and his skating. And here he is again, one half of the Latvian twins that were a big part of this Pee Dee team this season. Now there's only one half of them. Patrick's and Dominic's. Shot through traffic in the slot was Ledkoff. who has 38 goals to his name in the regular season, added one in the postseason. McPhail with a pad save, puck still loose out in front, and Athens is able to send it back down the ice. Pee Dee with the better chances here through the opening 4 minutes. And another clearance there from Athens as they're starting to get a grip of the game. Brendan Colgan, a big part of the win last night as well. Ultimately wasn't needed as much as they thought they might need him in the third period, but still made 45 saves on 47 shots. Did not take a single second off despite the big offensive night. Palgen rips one wide. Put a good drive into that one, the man from Lyon, Michigan. Almost lost it in the skates of the linesman there. Big body of Leafers trying to make trouble for Elijah Wilson. Here's Houston Wilson. Two Wilsons combining last night for a goal that needed video review to be confirmed. A groan from the Pee Dee fans as the IceCats have to reload, but reload well they do. Robinson hard off the end boards. And this is going to be another clearance for Athens that will likely end this power play. Seems like there's real clock issues here in the building. Either that or there might be issues with my clock. A wipeout behind the net. Let's see what the Lobsters can do here. This line of Ford, Lowell, and Milan really gathered some chemistry before the injury to Garrett Milan. All three of them were pointless last night. Maye absorbed by Colgan. A joust at the outside hash marks. Milan dispossessed by Dom Della Savita. It's a good idea from Maye, but Milan doesn't get there in time, and we go to the first commercial timeout of this game. The IceCats have had their chances, but the scoreline remains scoreless. It's Athens nothing, Pee Dee nothing.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about
come back from the commercial timeout as there's a scrum that's broken out here right next to the Pee Dee bench. Pushing and shoving between multiple members from both teams. Most eventful part of this game thus far in the opening 6 minutes, and it comes in the commercial timeout. Apologies to our friends at Piedmont Athens Regional, but we didn't want to have you miss any of this action. Looks like Lowell is going to the box. We'll see if there's a Pee Dee man that joins him, but in this do-or-die game, giving the IceCats another power play with a little bit more than 6 minutes gone is not going to do you any favors. It looks like it's going to be just Lowell. Of course, the shenanigans between these two teams has gone back since the very first time that they met back in late October. But as me and Tom Callahan, broadcaster of the Pee Dee IceCats, said in our playoff preview, it might be the team that's more disciplined that goes on to win it. Athens was more disciplined in game one, but not a good start in that approach here for game two. Pee Dee's power play 0 for 7. And actually, it looks like there will be 2 27s in the sin bins as Patrick's Marcinkiewicz will take up the other side next to Jesse Lowell. Lowell's penalty was for roughing. You'd have to imagine that Marcinkiewicz might be the same. The dot will happen in front of the Athens bench. Joe Mack draws it back. Carter Shinkarik around Carter McPhail. Light tap on the brakes. Athens turns it over. Taken back by the host, McGill Diaz. Cross ice to Charlie Bedard. We had the teddy bear toss goal for the Pee Dee IceCats in this building. Came against the Athens Rock Lobsters. Zychek trying to aim for that top shelf. Batted away on the blocker by McPhail. Carter McPhail has been a busy goaltender ever since the month of March really started. Kolatarski going coast to coast, somewhat uncharacteristically. Leafers digs it out of the corner, and a shot into the glove of Colgan as Joe Mack tests him from the point. So it looks like the clock here in the building keeps jumping back and forth, so I'm going to trust my clock more than I trust theirs. Shot, another glove save for Colgan, this time from Greco. Similar spot as the save there from Colgan on the shot from Mack. I don't know what's going on with the clock here in this building. Ford able to kick it. Colgan with 3 straight glove saves. Another off a blue liner, Dustin Perlat, who was the team's best player in that Continental Division clinching win against the Monroe Moccasins. The clock is still running here. The clock is still running, and finally it's a whistle blown by the officials as they'll try to stop this. You might have heard me talk as the broadcast has gone on that the clock in the building has not matched mine on the broadcast. Looks like they have to reset near everything here. They've restored the clock to 12:46, but they still need to put 53 seconds left on the penalties for Lowell and Marcinkiewicz. I guess they're not going to do that, though. Ford with a face-off win. Perlat to the end boards. Ford trying to track it down. Batted away by Tamir Razilov. Dennis Zychek, the Belarusian, tests McPhail from distance. And McPhail has a glove over it. Things boiling over once again. Pushing and shoving between Perlat and Zychek. Perlat has history in this building, specifically right there in front of these end boards. And he might be getting a little frustrated as he reminisces. Now it's he and Frolov. And both men still exchanging pleasantries as they both head to the box. Perlat is someone you'd much rather have on the ice than in the box, however. We'll see how they divvy out the time spent by both men in the sin bin. If it's as straightforward as 5 for fighting for each. While we have you here, we want to thank all of you on the YouTube side for tuning in. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to play a part in our world-famous chat. Like the stream and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Athens Rock Lobster content, including coaches' corners, player interviews, highlight reels, and more. And hopefully there is much more of that to come. Rock Lobsters trying to ensure that this will not be their final game of the season. Looks like it's just going to be roughing for the two men, Froloff and Perlat. However, it's Zychek that's in the box as well. And the many PD fans letting the refs know what they think of that call. Rock Lobsters might be on a 4-on-3 power play here. It looks like that will be the case. It'll turn into a 5-on-4 here. In less than a minute from now, here's Shinkarik running the point. Forward in the far circle, Shinkarik to Milan. Milan with a slapper. Colgan lets it loose. Croucher spins it through the skates of Gullo. Milan right back to Ford. Ripped over the head of Colgan, dropped to Milan, but then sent down by Razilov. McPhail out of his crease to try and recycle it early. Shinkarik banks it off the end boards. Walls it around for Luke Croucher. Both number 27s are back as Colgan makes another pad save. Patrick Marcinkiewicz and Jesse Lowell out of the box. Lowell with a good pinch there at the wall. Shinkarik hassled, but makes the most of it. Milan, Shinkarik there with a bear hug on Colgan. That one tickled the twine. It might not have counted. That is beautiful there from Jesse Lowell. However, the Pee Dee IceCats nullify it on the offside whistle called against Garrett Milan. So the Ice Cat building, who let the dogs out? I don't think that's a topical song. Joe Mack, best face-off man for this Athens team, wins one in the neutral zone. Send it to the near side corner and then whisk down. Hamilton with the clearance. Hamilton shakes the gloves there at Leifers as well, asking him if he wants to go. Joe Mack, cross ice, can't ride the line, cut out by Robinson and sent down. Still a 0-0 scoreline with 11 minutes to go in the first period. Rock Lobsters still have about 24 seconds to go on the Paloma Park power play, but it's another offsides whistle that kills their momentum. There was a large portion of the season where the Pee Dee IceCats might have been the most dangerous short-handed team in the FPHL. 12 short-handed goals still on the regular season, but they did not score one for at least over a month. Seems like they've just rolled the dice a little bit less, down a man. But when you have someone like Patrick Marcinkiewicz, who can just wheel through traffic like he's on a moped, you can never count out this Pee Dee team. Stick handle from Milan, Ford with a shot wide. Shinkarik back where it came from. Ford gets sent down to the ice by Della Savita. Power play over for the Rock Lobsters. Patrick Marcinkiewicz puts it between the skates, still got the pass off despite being taken up by Lowell. Offensive pressure, one-timer, knuckles wide. Patrick Marcinkiewicz scored off a similar bounce last night, but this one won't go. Ford with a zone entry. Malin with a shot. Ricochets to the end boards. And Colgan is prostrate in the crease and still has something on it. And once again, there's a 7-second difference between the clock here in the building and the clock that I have here on the broadcast. Clock here reads 10 minutes and 3 seconds. It was 9:56 on my count. Seems like the off-ice officials might know that or might be trying to call the media timeout here because it would be the after 10 timeout. Or maybe they're just trying to communicate the issues with the clock in general. Officials in communication with the Pee Dee bench. Looks like he's pointing to a player and then pointing to the penalty box. And Zychek is going to be taken to the sin bin. I know my clock's not official, but still clocks should run second by second, I'd imagine, like they do in most other buildings. So Zychek gets called to the box. I have no earthly reason why. But I think the Rock Lobsters will take what they can get. That's a good little move from Ledkoff. Sent right back down. Don't think it ever went back in the middle ice, or it did actually. We see the hand up from the linesman. And it looks like we're skating five-a-side as Popoff pops the gate off in the corner. So not a power play for the Rock Lobsters. We go to a commercial timeout here. Zychek sent back to the box. We'll try to get confirmation on what happened there, but it is still Pee Dee nothing, Athens nothing.
Lobster fans, this is Brad Akins. Akins Ford has led the way for years and keeps on growing. From offering the Southeast's largest inventory to being #1 in the nation in Ford truck sales, we're here to serve you. Want to customize your ride? Our Wild Willie's accessories team can make it as unique as you are. Make it legendary. Need service? Our fleet of over a dozen mobile service vans come right to you. Akins Ford and Winder. We really are closer and bigger than you think. Rock Lobsters, let's go.
Sorry to cut off that message from Terrapin, our friends over at the Terrapin Tap Room early, but face-off about to happen here. But Denis Zajac is back on the ice here. The clock was still running before that face-off, so. Icing will stop it again at 9:29. Athens ices the puck. Face-off will get taken back down towards their side of the rink here. Frustrated body language from Carter McPhail as he's in talks with the referee. Clock put back up to 9:38. I wonder if it's something as easy as just there's maybe issues with the scoreboard button to stop the clock. Because it seems like that's been the issue a lot of the times, is that the clock just keeps running after stoppages. Ford collects, kind of whiffs on his pass. Gullo gets rocked by the Grecking ball. Open ice hit from Michael Greco. Sticked away the shot by Ford on Colgan. Ford wraps it around, has to take it to the wall. Milan takes a hit of his own, dishes it back towards McGill Diaz. Perlat attempts the banker. The bank's closed on Saturdays. Then tilt-the-whirls one to Gus Ford. Trying to ease it to Milan. McGill Diaz has lost sight of it. Perlat just about keeps it in. High slot, works himself lower. Rebound. Ford was hoping to get it to Milan, but a miscommunication between the two former MVPs. 8:40 left in the first period. Mattine Rad bringing you the action on the ARL network. Michael Greco brought down, and now here comes Houston Wilson. Colatarsi into his numbers. It's under the glove there of Dom Delasavita. Turns around and sees Eli Leifers. Elijah Wilson with a deflection into the zone. Wilson line on here as Elijah Wilson backhands one, misses the cage. Physicality continues to ramp up. Houston Wilson, good idea, but I think there was a slight impediment there caused by Joe Colatarsi and defensive work from his stick. There's the danger man, Patrick's Marcinkiewicz. Good initial save from McPhail. He makes two. There's the puck, and there is the save. And here we go again. Patrick's Marcinkiewicz blows up on somebody to the net side there. Cooler heads will prevail, at least temporarily. Patrick's Marcinkiewicz stating his case to the Zebras. Looked like it might have been Eli Leifers that he collided with. Two men with two very different heights. Philip Virgili takes a spill. Still finds a way into the zone by Malik Johnson. Once again, if you're just joining us, Malik Johnson with a number switch tonight. Don't think it has anything to do with number availability, as he gets shrugged off on the hit initiated by him. Clever little touchdown by Croucher. Backhand bats it to Phil Virgili. Bartuccio Pereira hoping for a ricochet back behind Colgan. Della Savita able to shovel it away, and it's an odd man rush. 2-on-1, down to the ice. McPhail makes one stop, can't make two. Or did it not go in? No goal, say the officials. It seemed clear cut, but the scoreline remains goose eggs. That's the second pretty much open net opportunity that the Pee Dee IceCats have had this game. Gullo in the opening minutes of the frame. Once again, how did that one not cross the goal line? Lowell with a clever click. And then Bedard takes him up. Perlat makes the extra pass. Lowell can't get to the rebound, and it's lofted high and long. Gus Ford, Milan down low. Backhand pass, couldn't return the favor. Shots on goal, according to the building here, in favor of the Pee Dee IceCats, 8-6. It looks like they're not updating on the Federal Hockey side. Hamilton, Wilson spins. A dangerous spin at that as Eli Leifers almost picked his pocket. Got to watch out for the gate there in the corner. Saw Popoff take a hit into it. That's a self-inflicted wound from the IceCats, and Mack almost cashes in. Elijah Wilson scans. He says the best path is forward, but runs into Carter Shinkarik as a roadblock, and now it's Greco with a self-inflicted mistake, but this time it pays off for Pee Dee. Elijah Wilson coming off a three-point night in game one. And now going back to last night's game, the IceCats have scored 6 unanswered goals. And the blips on Athens' life support machine are starting to get louder in the year of the crustaceans. Now Alexander Ledkoff right after the fresh goal scored. Whistles one out of play. Wilson does it all himself. Orders the doggy bag from Greco, takes it home and eats it. It's a 1-0 game. Kind of a couple of back-to-back plays there where we saw similar instances where Pee Dee made a couple of mistakes that were not afflicted on them, and now Malik Johnson might be able to get to a breakaway here on his own defensive play, misses wide. Rock Lobsters right now, they're not getting the bounces, and there's a perfect example. Ledkoff tries to go 5-hole, and McPhail is able to slap the quad shut. We go to a commercial break. Elijah Wilson makes it 1-0. It's Athens 0, Pee Dee 1.
At Athens Stonecasting, Don Hill oversees acres of sculptures poured from thousands of molds. Endless possibilities for neighbors who envision unique gardens. Craig Meeks at First American Bank and Trust caught that vision. Together, Don and Craig create solutions that keep the business teeming with new gifts for the garden. Vision. It's one of the core convictions we live by. Learn more about what we stand for at firstamericanishere.com. First American Bank and Trust.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
stake of the Athens Rock Lobster season is on the line, and yet it's Elijah Wilson and the Pee Dee IceCats who draw first blood here in Game 2. Going back to last night's game, I believe it's actually 7 unanswered goals since Philip Virgili's power play effort in the second period of last night's game. Might have been an icing from Milan, but it does take a touch from Miguel Diaz. Milan able to stop it. Pee Dee IceCats had 3 different leads. Ultimately, the last one they needed was 3-2, but would go on to score to make it 8-2, the final scoreline. Good pass there from Welsh at the half wall, combining with Robinson. Gullo tied up by Maye in a collision of 2 number 19s. Lowell shovels it, cut out by Miguel Diaz. McPhail leaves it on a platter for Shinkarik. Easy glove save for McPhail as Jake Hamilton tries to put the scope on. Rock Lobsters haven't gotten some friendly bounces over these past 2 games, but sometimes you have to generate your own friendly bounces. And that's not really happening for Athens either. Pop off, kind of a stutter step to the end boards for the goal scorer, Elijah Wilson. Hamilton moves up to the half wall and walks the tightrope. Kolatarski down all 4s as Patrick Marcinkiewicz takes it to the left into the corner. Out of the zone for Pee Dee, and Hamilton fields it in the middle ice, takes it back to his own zone, chopped ahead by Elijah Wilson. Calgin, touch pass, Luke Croucher gathering speed, and ultimately loses all that momentum into the boards on the far side. Alexander Letkoff, 5-point night, trying to make it a goal for him. McPhail loses sight of it, and Houston, we've got a problem. Both Wilsons have now scored in this one. First Elijah and now Houston at the welcome mat. And it's a warm playoff welcome here in the Florence Center. Athens 2 goals down. And right now they're at a huge risk of being the top seed in the Continental Division and yet not winning a playoff game. And here come the IceCats again. Will it be a replay of the bang, bang, bang we saw last night? McPhail able to stop the clock. Goal from Wilson. Assist from Froloff and Marcinkiewicz. What did Garrett Rutledge say over the past 2 coaches' corners? You can't cry over spilled milk. Well, the milk is all over the floor now, and there's no time here to cry. You got to get on your horse and get to work. Ledkoff so clever in his play, but here comes Gus Ford. Overskates the puck and just shrugs to say, as if he doesn't even know what's going on himself. Confusion in the body language of the Rock Lobsters, and rightly so. This doesn't look like the team that won 44 games in the regular season. .80 seconds left to play in the first frame. Awkward knuckler off the wall there over the head of Colgan. Ultimately, it might pay off for the Pee Dee IceCats. Shot gets blocked. Robinson rims it around. Hamilton with the pass. McPhail able to stand tall, but only temporarily. It is 3-0 PD. And what did we say in our open? In the keys of the game, you've got to weather the storm and make sure you don't get rocked 3 times in the face like you did in the opening 2 minutes of the third period, and yet it's happened here in the first. If there's any benefit to it happening in the first 20 minutes as opposed to the final 20 minutes like it did last night, it's that Athens has much more time to try and get back in this game. But they have yet to be able to solve the conundrum of Colgan. Welsh from Hamilton. Here's Eli Leifers. Now Eli Leifers and Patrick Marcinkiewicz once again staring each other down. They both slash each other hard. We'll see if they both sit. Looks like that is going to be the case. I don't want to exactly evoke religion in any way that might seem cheap here on the broadcast, but the Rock Lobsters need to go down the tunnel for the first intermission and have a come to Jesus moment. As their playoff chances in just the first period here are now on their last leg. The disaster of the third period from Friday's game has leaked out here into the first period of game number 2. And Athens now in desperation mode. Despite there being 40 minutes left to play, the Cardiac Crustaceans didn't come down the tunnel in the third period yesterday, but can they come back for the final 40 tonight? We'll send you to the coach's corner during the first intermission here. Rock Lobsters down a good bit. And a good bit early on in this game. After the first period, it's Pee Dee 3, Athens nothing. Welcome, Incrustation Nation, to a special Commissioner's Cup edition of Coach's Corner, your inside look to everything happening on and off the ice for the Athens Rock Lobsters. As always, I'm your host, Matt Rad, and I'm joined by head coach Garrett Rutledge. Ruts, before we get into anything, I want to point out that slick shirt you're wearing.
Oh, yeah. Look at this, eh? Just got this
like
today,
that.
Actually. It was on my desk when I got in here, so that was nice. Yeah,
sounds like maybe
get these at the rock shop, I think, here. So I think it's our playoff merch drop. So I think they're pretty good. I think they come in blue, possibly white, and obviously red that I got on. So it's everybody go get some.
Looks
let's
very,
let
very
this place
sleek.
out Friday night.
That's true. Another red out coming up. The game one of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. We'll talk about that. But before we get there, let's talk about a very interesting weekend in Monroe. The Lobsters went into hostile territory with the odds against them for a multitude of different reasons. They were missing some big contributors, 300 points missing from the roster, and Monroe had a near fully healthy roster. But all Athens needed was a win, and they went into the snake pit and got to. You and me both know what the boys are capable of, and yet it felt like for the first time in our history, nobody gave us a chance. Was this kind of a rare opportunity for you to implement and instill an underdog mentality for your team? It seems crazy to say that.
No, I just think our depth in general, our whole team is a real good hockey team. They've played a lot of places. So I think you could feel the energy on the bus going there the day before, kind of loose. We watched the Masters. We did a lot of stuff as a team. All togetherness is brotherhood. And then Friday, you could feel that tension, how important a game was for the boys and for our organization. And credit to the boys, they come to play and they were standing on business as per se. They're Mateen. And I think just being there and as a coach and even yourself, you could feel that, I don't know, that you could feel the just how dialed in the boys were going to be. You could feel it, how good they were going to be. They were there for a reason, and we weren't going to get in a loss that night. It didn't matter what was going to happen. And then obviously we got a goal in the first shift or so, and the boys were like, "Oh, this is for real. We're going to do this."
That kind of segues into my next question. Well, we'll talk through both games, and we can kind of talk about the weekend as a whole for Dustin Perlat. He started the scoring on Friday's Continental Division, clinching 6-2 win with a beautiful drive and backhand 37 seconds into the game. It was the first of his 3 goals that weekend. Me and you talked last weekend about how important Dusty had been over the past few weeks, and he found an even higher level this past weekend. What was different about him in these 2 games?
No, just a credit to the boys all playing together. Dusty is an offensive defenseman, but he also defends well. He knows when to jump up in the play. So he's seen a spot and got a puck, and then I think it was a forward actually that he noticed was on playing defense there and got wide on him. And obviously the old backhand's kind of forgotten shot in hockey, and it's tough to stop. So well-placed shot just above the ankle inside the post and lower glove. So it was good. And Dusty keeps rolling and players get hot. It's great to see, and it's fun to be part of here.
Through 40 minutes, the Friday game was played on a razor's edge. It truly had that playoff feel to it with what was at stake for the 2 teams. Do you feel how close that game was because of the compete level, or was it maybe 2 teams feeling each other out, maybe somewhat afraid to make a mistake in a high-stakes game?
Yeah, I think at the high-stake game, it's playoff mentality. Every game's going to be tight from here on in, including what was at stake Friday night. I think game of inches, the details, the ensuring you win in puck battles, getting pucks to the net, stopping in front of the net to get those loose rebounds, and who's going to grease one in the net and kind of get us going here. And then special teams again. You got to score on the power play, and you got to have a few good penalty kills, which I thought we were unreal in the penalty kill. And obviously our goaltending was real sharp that night too. So that's a big difference in the hockey game when he's standing on his head back there, and we know he's got our back for sure.
The third period has been the Lobsters' best period this season, but when Carlos Forneira scored that goal to tie it 2-2 early in the third, I just let that thought infect my mind that, we're down a lot of bodies. The legs are going to get tired. The lack of personnel is going to catch up with us. And yet the team goes and scores 4 unanswered goals to end the game and end the race. A lot of that had to do with the 5-hole in the third period. 3 straight 5-hole goals against Tyler Masternak by JBP, Luke Croucher, and Gus Ford. Is that just the way that happened, or was that a weakness that you and the boys sniffed out either before the game or in the game?
No, I just think it's a one-off for Masternak in net there. He's still a good goalie. But what I will say, they tie the game up and everybody kind of was on the bench. We were still in a good spirit and stuff. We made a bad play and a little bit of a turnover and ends up back in your net. But just the message was, guys, we got to get back on the forecheck. We got to get back to making plays. You got to make plays out there in a tight game. You got to support each other, get pucks in with support, low, high, swing it east-west. You got to start making plays. It's a tie game. No one's going to feel bad for you here. We're still good here. We only got 20 minutes to figure this out. So let's empty the tank a bit. Let's start taking a little more risks. Let's start forechecking and turn up the juice a little bit on the bench. So the message was, you just got to make some plays. Got to make plays. Got to get back to our identity and turn out for us. And then obviously when you throw pucks to the net, good things happen. So at the end of the day, that's where goals are scored. I've said this before, and there's no secret to it.
No Milan, no Phil, no Malik, no Danny, no Gleb, no Neely, no Willie. You needed players to step up in their absence. And 2 guys that I think you probably really wanted to see more tangible contribution from was Eli Leifers and John Calgin. We got that in these 2 games, and they were big parts of the win. The importance of their performances doesn't diminish at all as we go into the playoffs. How important were their performances in Monroe?
Oh, this time of year, everybody, all hands on deck, including myself. It doesn't matter what you do. Everything has to be about the team. It's just next guy up mentality. You get people out there that are rooting against us, whether it be, who knows, it could be underlying people that you think are on your side and they're really not. So it's kind of a mentality that we got. It's Athens versus everybody kind of thing. So we're here. All players know what it takes to be a Rock Lobster, and everybody's here for a reason, and everybody's got to contribute. At the end of the day, you're going to have bumps in the road as you go on to the championship rounds and into playoffs and game by game. There's going to be bumps in the road. You know what I mean? And it's I heard somebody say it the other day. It might have been Jesse. He said, "You can't cry over spilled milk. You just got to keep going. Got to keep grinding on." We show up. We play the game. You get to play hockey at the end of the day, win, lose, or draw. We put ourselves in that situation where that game meant a lot on Friday and Saturday night per se, but we won Friday night. So we did it to ourselves. It was nobody but ourselves. We have ourselves to blame, but the boys worked through it, had a good week of practice, got on the bus and took care of business on Friday night. And you could show from a Rock Lobster hockey standpoint, when the boys dial it in and want to play the game and we want to play the right way, we are a tough hockey team to play with or without majority of our guys.
When we talk about the offensive step up that was needed and was necessary because of the forwards that were missing, that idea isn't just limited to the forwards that we had, as there were goals from Bartuccio Pereira, and then we've talked about Dusty's performance. I know the Blue Liners have been largely in the offensive mix all season long, but did there need to be more will from the defense to play make and score this weekend?
Oh yeah, I thought again. I think everybody has to contribute in some way. When you get the defense scoring some goals and contributing offensively for us, it's massive. It takes a big weight off the forwards group, and it just becomes another aspect that you got to watch out for with the Rock Lobsters. We're dangerous up front, but we're also dangerous on the back end. So as you put those weapons out, everybody contributing and everybody firing on all cylinders. And I thought we played a system unbelievable Friday night. It was awesome to be part of. And it was fun to coach in for sure. Just going in there and winning on their ice, and you know what I mean. Just being classy and just doing what we do. Just win hockey games, and it's a big accomplishment for our group, our organization, our ownership to win the Continental Division. But it's just one little accolade to the season for us that we can put on our belt and say what we did. It's just a stepping stone, but we know what we got to do here going forward, and we just want to keep adding to those things.
I said on the broadcast that I don't think I have ever been more proud of the boys, whether it come with Gus's goal to make it 5-2 or Jesse's empty netter to make it 6. When you finally realized on the bench that the division was ours, what was that feeling and what was the level of pride that you felt in the team and what they gave?
Well, to be honest with you, I was just happy for the organization, not myself or the team. Getting home ice for sure is big for the business front of things. Playing at home in Athens, having home ice in the Continental Division going forward, I think it's massive for our group. It's massive for our ownership. Scott and all the front office staff to be able to stay busy and promote games here in Athens. So I was proud of that. That's what I really wanted to do is make sure for our fans to get home ice here and make sure we put on a show here. So, but for the most part, credit to the guys, you know what I mean? They stay the course all season, whether it be shorthanded or whatever happens to us. We stay together and we found a way and we come together, and just all you got to do is win a hockey game, right? It seems real easy, isn't it?
Well, now we examine the second win, the win on Saturday, which presented a little bit more of the adversity we thought we might have for the weekend as a whole. The Moccasins had something that they didn't have Friday. That was a lead, a multi-goal lead at one point. There wasn't any postseason implication to play for. The bragging rights were already ours, and yet the fight shown by the team once again to come back and win. What do you think was the main motivator?
I think just stay in the course. Again, you got a hockey team that's hungry, never quit attitude. Again, nobody really got down on the bench. We were rolling all three lines. We were playing everybody. Everybody was having fun. Did they get some fortuitous bounces? Yeah, I would say so, maybe a little bit. But the boys stayed to the structure, stayed the course, and got the outcome. I think maybe even a couple gentlemen started maybe a little fisticuffs in the corner and woke up the boys a little bit. So as soon as that happened, the game turned. So sometimes it was a little bit sleepy. Maybe you need a little wake-up call and get a little juice flowing, and then puck started to go in. So just a little bit of edge for us, and thanks to Mr. Greco and Mr. Powell to get us going there, and JP, and woke us up a bit, and next thing you know, we're right back in the hockey game. But we just keep coming wave after wave at them, and guys are going to break down and find plays, and we got opportunities and got in the to put in the net. So it's great to see. I'm just proud of the boys, you know what I mean? And that overtime's overtime for us. We practice it a lot, but you know what I mean? As soon as Copes scored there, like bringing in Copes is like, he's just the type of guy that finds a way to score a goal. Like I think 40 and I talked, he always just finds a way. He knows where the net is. He gets a goal, gets us within 4-2, and then, you know what I mean? We're at overtime, and I'm like, everybody's playing in overtime, so get ready, boys. We're just dumping them out here. And I was standing on the bench, and I literally looked down, and I was like, here we go, boys. I go, we're either going to lose this game or win this game. I was like, Keplinger, Ford, Shinkarik. And the boys were like, as long as we get the puck, she's game over. As long as we get the puck. If we don't have the puck, we're in one, boys. So it was pretty funny on the bench, and then obviously it all worked out for the best. But it was my pleasure having Copes in and having him on the bench again. And he's just a good guy to have on the bench, like having a ton of fun out there. Again, for a guy that hasn't played in a little bit, he's leadership definitely went through the dressing room and his experience and stuff. He was just like, guys, we got to get playing. We got to get playing. We got to get going here, boys. We got to get one here. Like, it was never say never. It was like he's been here for 56 games. So it was awesome to see him connect with some of the boys and obviously get back with Shinks where they played together, and Phil, and just getting him out there. I think it was just a good little shot in the arm for the guys for the final game. But credit to our guys. Another game, another win for us. They never quit. Didn't even matter if it was a non-game. We still wanted to win that game and then send a message.
It was funny to see Josh Keplinger. When you say Copes, for those of you maybe unaware, Josh Keplinger is who Rutz is referring to. Funny enough, he was an early signing for Athens in franchise history, but after getting a job in medical sales, never laced the skates up for the Lobsters. Someone you know from the Carolina days, he's been kind of like a firefighter over the past couple of seasons, coming in for Danville last season. He came in for Carolina earlier in the year. Was he an easy call to make? Was he one of the first people on your list, knowing that you needed bodies to come in for this weekend?
Yeah, he definitely was. I know he skates a lot, playing men's league back in North Carolina in the Greensboro area. So he was for sure, just with his experience, and he knew a lot of the guys on the team already. And I thought it'd just be an easy fit to bring him in. He roomed with 40, and he's roomed with 40 for a couple years now. So it was just it was a no-brainer for sure, and it worked out. It just happened to be, and he was excited to play and get back on the ice and give him his Rock Lobster jersey there that he was one of the first guys signed, I think, right? So as you said. So
2 goal reviews to speak of here, Coach. Michael Hagen-Moe with a tic-tac-toe. I didn't get a good look when it happened, so I don't know. I didn't know until minutes later that the net was indeed off the line. It came on a push-off from Matt Sales, and we're aware how easy the nets come off in Monroe. But it felt like the challenge from you came more because of the whistle from the referee more than the actual net being off, no?
Yeah, I was like I said, you get all this rumor mill about the Monroe Moxes, this, that, but they can't buy pegs for the nets. It's what it is. Standard operating procedures is what I say throughout the league, where everybody should have the exact same equipment. But who am I to make that call? I guess, right? That would only make for even keel hockey. But no, the net was off. We seen that. We have an iPad on the bench. The net was off. He blew the whistle. I was like, well, what difference does it make here? Like, you know what I mean? Like, to me, it's like, all right, I'll challenge it, I guess.
Rock Lobsters down by 3 here after 1 period played. Looks like they're just starting out in Monroe. So scoreless there. Moccasins, we'll see if they're still reeling from a very similar lopsided loss to what Athens suffered last night. And then the Port Huron Prowlers tied in the series with the Blue Ridge Bobcats. And they're also tied on the scoreline for a crucial Game 3. It's 1-1. Well, the Rock Lobsters, just very similarly to what we saw in the first 2 minutes of period 3 in last night's game, they took 3 big haymakers to the jaw in the closing 5 minutes of the first period. First, it was Elijah Wilson, then came Houston Wilson, and then Drew Welsh to make it 3-0 with a minute to go. And some of the turnovers and some of the way that the play has flowed into the goals, it often enough came on players losing an edge. And there is a new sheet here and a new Zamboni here at the Florence Center. But ultimately, you can't use that as an excuse. Both teams are playing on the same ice. We said it towards the end of that first period that Athens needed to have a come to Jesus moment, or maybe a come to the hockey gods moment. It looks like there's some issue with the condition of the ice, or what the Zamboni maybe has or has not done. As it looks like the Pee Dee IceCats are going back to the locker room. Popoff taking this moment to pump up the Pee Dee IceCat fans. Garrett Rutledge, June Hashawaki, and Micah Swift-Taylor are the only team personnel that are either on the ice or on the bench right now. And it looks like they're dragging the Zamboni back out here. You might recall it made some headlines around the FPHL where there was a hole in the ice right over on the left side of your screen towards the end boards in a series between the IceCats and the Monroe Moccasins. Don't think that there's that kind of issue or that severity of the issue, but at least the Zamboni's being brought back out here. There's a specific spot that they're targeting, or For those of you just joining us, the start of the second period here delayed. Pee Dee IceCats, along with the few Rock Lobsters that were starting to make their way out of the tunnel, the Pee Dee IceCat team was completely out on the ice, and maybe they made the first observations, but whether it be the officials, whether it be Athens, or whether it be Pee Dee, the Zamboni was prompted to come back on the ice and either finish the job or do a better one. It almost looks like they're doing a full resurface here. So we'll play some commercials for you, tell you about some of our great sponsors, and then after that we'll be back with some more Rock Lobster hockey as they try to get back into this game, currently down 3-0 with their playoff life on the line. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Just hang on. Perfect.
Owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
So the Zamboni is gone. Here come the officials. Perhaps they'll check out the ice before both teams come back. Here come the Rock Lobsters. Need 40 minutes better than the last 40 minutes that have been played. A lot of that same momentum that was gathered by the Pee Dee IceCats at the very early stages of the third period. 3 goals in the opening 2 minutes. They polish off the final 5 minutes of the first period today with 3 goals. Of course, the Rock Lobsters, the cardiac crustaceans, known for their come-from-behind wins, with some remarkable ones in this building as well. Memory harkens back to that game where we lost Dustin Perlat for quite some time as he was boarded by Dominiks Marcinkevics, who was no longer with the IceCats team. And Dusty was stretchered off the ice, a very, very scary moment. And the Rock Lobsters were able to use their frustrations towards building a win, and many penalty minutes for the Pee Dee IceCats also resulted in some sustained power play time for the Rock Lobsters, where they were able to complete the comeback. Looks like the IceCats being summoned back to the ice by the officials. And they're welcomed back by the fans. Lobsters having to wait substantial amount of time, whether it be for Pee Dee to come back out from the locker room or for the Zamboni to cut the sheet for the second time in the intermission. You know how bad the boys want this. It's the goal that's been on their mind since game 1 of the regular season back in Columbus, Indiana. Reminder that we'll start 4-on-4 as Leifers and Patrick's Marcinkiewicz are in the box. And away we go here in the second period. Here's Milan, a little bit of burst in play of him, but doesn't get the pass right to Carter Shinkarik. Milan again. No look pass, Gus Ford rips a shot. Another save by Brendan Colgan, and really you have to give him his flowers as well for his play over the past 40 minutes. Here comes another odd man rush. Ledkoff forces the save from McPhail with less than 30 seconds gone. Garrett Milan works his way towards the slot from the right circle. Shot gets blocked from close range. Dom Della Savita up the near side wall. Good poke check there by Maya. Falls all the way back for Shinkarik. Clatters off the blade of Devin Maye's stick. Lofts one at Colgan. Uses the blocker to get it into the corner. Now the IceCats are able to transition defense into offense. Seems like there's a lot of snow that's making that puck stick a little extra, as Froloff really wasn't able to get it to the end boards at all. But once again, as we mentioned during the intermission, both teams have to play on the same sheet of ice. Right now, the results are benefiting this Pee Dee IceCat team a little bit better, and there's a wipeout there from Houston Wilson. Whistle on the play. And now it looks like there's going to be more offsetting penalties, as Greco and McGill Diaz will sit. So there'll be 4 seconds of 3-on-3 rather. And we'll go right back to 4-on-4. Four on the ice for Athens will be Carter Shinkarik, Luke Croucher, Dustin Paralat, and Philip Virgil. Looks like we'll redo the face-off. Here comes Dustin Perlat. Now it looks like actually both teams are skating 5 aside here. Shot deflected wide by Leafers. Sometimes when you see offsetting roughings, you see them let the two teams skate 5 aside. We see an icing against the Pee Dee IceCats. And when considering the condition of the ice, you have to consider a lot of times the conditions that are happening outside. Yesterday in Georgia, it reached 90 degrees for the earliest time in the year in recorded history, I believe. Touch pass from Patricks to Houston Wilson. Nice little spin from Marcinkiewicz, but doesn't get through the skates of Shinkarik. Helped back on his stick by Milan. Jesse Lowell, zone entry on the left side. Shot pad saved by Colgan. He is looking more and more like the goaltender who won the 2022-23 FPHL Goaltender of the Year award. I believe Colgan won that award during his time with the Columbus River Dragons. Lowell got a piece, no icing. Here's Colgan behind the net, up the wall toward Ford. Ford onto the backhand, shepherds it towards the pads of Colgan. Bartuccio Pereira, rather, Perlat from distance, and a glove save from Colgan. Colgan has made quite a bit of saves with his lower body in this game, and no exception here in the start of this second period. Offensive zone draw for the Rock Lobsters, and really these are the kind of opportunities where they need to start generating more. And of course a little bit of the commentator's curse there as Joe Mack wins the faceoff, but gets it all the way back towards the left of McPhail. Leafers is back out on the ice after serving his penalty where he started in the sin bin to begin this third period. Athens working it down low. Pass deflects to the blue line. Bartuccio Pereira spins and gives it to Drew Welsh, who has the last goal as it stands at 3-0. Big hit from Maye on Welsh. McPhail shrugs off the shot from Robinson. Puck stays on the ice there, and Leafers had to go back and get it. Devin Maye coming from behind on McPhail. Then there's another lost edge there. Luke Croucher. It's not the first time that that's happened to the rookie sensation in this game. Zychek to Popoff. McPhail out of his crease will make a play himself. Croucher pokes it to the danger man in this series, Alexander Ledkoff. Centering pass. Doesn't go to plan for Hamilton. And Johnson gets ridden there by Froloff. Puck comes free on the heavy sticking there from Charlie Bedard. 4.5 minutes played here in this second period. Rock Lobsters now have the lead in shots on goal in the game at 15-12 according to the scoreboard here in the building. It's reading 13 apiece on the Federal Hockey side. Wilson. Centering pass cut out by Kola. Jesse Lowell attempts the dump and goes only as far as the left circle dot. Milan, a spinning pass. Ford. Tilting and turning. Milan onto a backhand. Jesse Lowell on the right side. Got to the loose puck and puts it to the near side of wall for Perlat. Perlat from distance, and Colgan was able to track it down the whole way. That sends us to the first commercial timeout of the second period. Athens logging a little bit more shots here in the middle frame, but they have still yet to tickle the twine past the 2022-23 goaltender of the year in Brendan Colgan. It's Athens nothing, Pee Dee 3.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Honey, the sink is overflowing!
Okay, I'll call a plumber.
Need a plumber? Need a pro? When you need a plumber, call a pro. Plumber Pro.
Earlier we saw the offsetting roughings for Michael Greco and Miguel Diaz. They're both back on their respective benches. For those of you just joining us, there was a delay in the start to the second period where the Zamboni had to be brought back out on the ice to recut the sheet. And I'm wondering if that was a Zamboni issue or if that's more of an issue of where the ice is not handling the cutting of the sheet very well. Perhaps the truth lies somewhere in the middle. Puck is out of play. We were just talking about it earlier. The Rock Lobsters are able to generate more valuable shots here on these offensive zone faceoffs. They had more shots than the Pee Dee IceCats in last night's game, but I think in terms of the higher percentage opportunities, the Pee Dee IceCats definitely had more of those, and they've had more of those tonight as well. Chopped down like a tree by Milan. Lowell from the half wall. Able to dig it into the corner, but only for a temporary period of time. Gus Ford at center ice. Off the glass, Colgan offers a stick at it, but then leaves it for Miguel Diaz. Perlat being paired with Shinkarik here in recent moments. Milan steps on the brakes. Perlat, we saw that pop from him going 3 times last weekend. Perlat closes the hands and closes the legs, but McPhail is going to have to try and close out here. What a dangle to the net. McPhail hoping for the whistle, and there it comes. What a beautiful stick handling move to the crease. I believe it was Alexander Ledkoff, who has just been a phenom so far in this series. How many times have we seen that in this series already from Alexander Ledkoff? One of the very best in the Commissioner's Cup playoffs thus far after a 1-goal, 4-assist performance in Friday's game. Joe Mack, a couple of bites of the cherry, able to win the faceoff. Greco cut out by Patrick Marcinkiewicz. Leifers backhands it towards the center ice. Calgin can't take it around his man. Houston Wilson made it 2-0 earlier on in the game, and now here's Patrick Marcinkiewicz. No doubt the kind of player who wants to get in on the scoring side as well. Hamilton rims it around, comes off the backside of the net, and Maye sends it back where it came from. Hamilton up the wall for Houston Wilson. Patrick Marcinkiewicz tries to redirect it, comes off the body of Maye, and Athens still not able to play out of their own ice, but now they are. The Grecking ball barreling up the middle of the ice. Tess Colgan, another pad save from the 31-year-old, one of the most veteran FPHL goaltenders in this league. Greco takes a step off the wall and blasts one into the midsection of the goaltender. Colgan, an all-time playoff record in the FPHL of 5-2-2. His 5th win in playoff history last night. Line of Johnson, Croucher, and Virgili. We'll see at some point if we get the story behind the number change for Malik Johnson. Wonder if a jersey just got lost in the wash. Kardish and Carrick having to get on his horse, but icing beat out there by Welsh. Croucher. Nice stick handling move from the youngster. Gathering speed, but we've seen him wipe out a couple of different times in this game. Kolatarsi whiffs on the shot, still has the puck. Second time of trying, and it's blocked right out in front of Colgan. Crunching hit from Kolatarsi in behind on Dom Della Savita. And the net is off its moorings. Stoppage in play. A little less than 8 minutes gone here in the second period, and Athens looks like they have their head a little bit more screwed on straight than they did in the first, but it hasn't resulted in goals just yet. They'll realign the cage here behind McPhail. Face off in front of the penalty boxes. Both men trying to take an early advantage. They get admonished and warned. We do it again, and Milan wins the draw. Perlat off the wall. Ford collects, backhands it. Miscommunication and misconnection. We've seen it quite a bit for Athens. Here comes Ledkoff again. Had that beautiful dangle towards the net that McPhail just about kept out. Bartuccio Pereira puts the body on the line on the shot from Bedard. Another block shot, this time from J-Lo. Ford enters in on the right side. Milan's going to have to take it around the net, but he won't make it there, courtesy of Charlie Bedard. A whistle in play there, and Jesse Lowell with a shrug. He had the puck on the end of his stick. I think the officials thought that the gate in the corner, and on the opposite side of the ice, we saw the gate popped off by Popoff in the first period. Steadily approaching the halfway point in this game. And the Rock Lobsters have yet to score since about the halfway point of last night's game, a power play goal from Philip Virgili. Right now, they need one of those to throw out a lifesaver and send this game back to the tank. Right now, they're a distance away from accomplishing that feat. Pee Dee working out of their own ice. Here comes Houston Wilson. And once again, a player that loses an edge, cannot find the blade of their skate on the snowy ice. Scrum for possession. Almost came out there for Milan, eventually able to get it towards Ford. Goes past the number 25. Whiff shot, here comes an odd man rush. Ford will rip it himself. Unable to trouble Colgan. Maye hoping to center it. Milan makes the extra pass. Tic-tac-toe stuff. Bar down and in. Garrett Milan in his second game back from injury. And there's his first goal. A goal that was very much needed for Super Milan and the Crustaceans. It kind of came out of the printing press as a tic-tac-toe goal, but not sure if that was purposeful or not. It was kind of just chaos in the crease, and there needs to be more of that from the Crustaceans if there is a lifeline back into this game. They're able to make it a 2-score game now. Their first goal since about this period of the game last night. We said that Athens needed to have a come-to-Jesus moment in the first intermission. Is this the beginning of their prayers being answered? We'll find out. Goal for Milan. His first of the playoffs, his 31st of the year, and Gus Ford and Devin Maye on the helpers. Maye now with 3 assists in this playoff series. Shot from distance, McPhail with a glove save. And then kind of offers something extra at Nick Gullo. One of the very first coaches' corners of the season, Garrett Rutledge mentioned that you look towards the veteran players, towards the big contributors to pull you into the fight. Athens has not been a part of the fight for a long period of time, coming back from game 1 now into game 2, as Garrett Milan just pulled them back into it. Still an uphill battle for the Rock Lobsters, but they have accomplished bigger comebacks than this season. Shinkarik hard off the wall. Colgan wants icing, he'll get it. I believe the Lobsters, though, will be saved by the bell, or by the horn, if you will. We go to a commercial timeout with 9:48 left in the second. It's now Athens 1, thanks to Super Milan, Pee Dee 3.
Since we opened in 1968, we've taken pride in our professional staff. Unparalleled customer service is our legacy. Experience the best, skilled hands and friendly faces. At Stanfield Air Systems, satisfaction is not just a guarantee, it's our tradition. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
The Rock Lobsters with many multi-goal comebacks this season, including in this building. They need another one here in the Florence Center. They were able to claw one back through Garrett Milan, and it's now a 2-goal game. Zychek will get kicked out of this offensive zone faceoff, I believe. And that is good news for Athens, as he is one of the very best at the dot in the FPHL, in my opinion. Here's Milan, the goal scorer for Athens. Skips one like a stone. Ford doesn't really get any meaningful touch to it, but he did on the assist on Milan's goal. Chaos at the crease for the Crustaceans. That's what finally got the payoff goal. Shinkarik lets it run. And the IceCats almost cash in. The amount of times that it feels like we've seen Alexander Ledkoff in all alone on Carter McPhail. That was point of contention number one for our keys to the game for the Athens Rock Lobsters. And of course, Carter McPhail is one of the very best goaltenders at negating a breakaway in this league, but ultimately, if you let up too many of those juicy kind of chances, a team's going to cash in sooner rather than later, and McPhail absorbs a slapper from Hamilton. Rock Lobsters playing for their life, down a game in a series where the first to 2 wins goes on to the next round in the semifinals. Perlat with a crunching hit behind on Houston Wilson, and now Bartuccio Pereira is leading the charge, finds Virgili, swatted away by Colgan. In the corner, Malik Johnson with a hit on the forecheck. Once again, Croucher finds himself down on the ice. Houston Wilson, glove save by McPhail, maybe his best one of the night. McPhail out of the crease and towards the glass to keep his legs fresh. I think it's always easy to point at a goaltender. But I think it's also difficult to shoulder the blame on McPhail on the 9 goals that have been given up with him in the crease by Athens. Here comes another step ahead of a defenseman for the IceCats. Drew Welsh with the drive and the shot. Doesn't hit his mark, but Will Gullo, puck still loose out in front. It's not McPhail over it. Don't think anyone knows where it is. Greco trying to shove Gullo away from it, who has had his knees over it. Here's Gullo on the puck again. One-timer, easy glove save, fielded like a shortstop by McPhail on the shot from Robinson. Athens down by 2. They have the only goal here in this middle frame. He now has 1 in the playoffs this year. Can Super Milan strap the cape on once again and prove to be the hero for the Crustaceans once more? Clear to return to play for yesterday's game. Zajac on the Athens turnover. Off a stick and into the netting. Shinkarik and McPhail there in close conversation. Lowell and Kolatarsi switch spots. Milan and Zajac on the draw. One-timer after the face-off win for Pee Dee. Doesn't go to plan, but still some possession in the offensive zone. Cut out seconds later by Athens. Colgan sticks it and then brings it closer toward his body to stop the clock with 7:21 left. Some more hugging and shoving behind a net here. This time it's Colgan's home that gets invaded. Shinkarik and Robinson, it looked like, getting right into one another's face, and the officials taking their time and separating the two. You don't necessarily want to back down from a fight in certain instances, but you also don't want to have your star players drawn into that kind of shenanigans either. Once again, for all of you who are watching on the YouTube side, thank you so much for doing so. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to play a part in our chat. Like the stream and ring the bell to stay notified of all future Rock Lobster content, including Coach's Corners, Lobster Tales, and highlight reels and more. Draw still there to be won, as no team has really settled the puck in Athens offensive ice. Shinkarik moves it east to west. Kolatarski from the corner. Ford just drives it towards the crease, but Colgan has been so good in those kinds of situations over the past 2 games. IceCats work it from the wall and work it in. Elijah Wilson with his 2nd of the game. And Pee Dee back up by 3. And it seems at times the slot in front of Carter McPhail is just a little too open to send shots into the channel. Of course, Athens needing to be more exploratory here to try and go towards tying this game up, but they also need to protect their own net a little bit better to make sure that it doesn't compound the pain that's being felt right now. Virgili, clever little spin. Falls to the feet of Croucher, who kicks it to Bartuccio Pereira. Spins, shoots, dodged by the leg of Malik Johnson and into the end boards. Elijah Wilson, his 3rd already of the playoffs, 2nd tonight, with assists from Hamilton and Marcinkiewicz. Was a lot of hard work to get Athens within 2, and that work now undone by Elijah Wilson. So it's back to the drawing board once again to erase a 3-goal deficit. Hard banker from Perlat. Offside against Athens. "26 minutes separates Athens from a much earlier exit than they anticipated. But that's 26 minutes that you have the opportunity to put 3 goals on the board. Alexander Ledkoff has just dazzled in this series. Gets a hit for his efforts from Dustin Perlat. Bartuccio Pereira, good defensive stick work there from the French-Canadian. Also out of Saint-Bruno de Montarville, Quebec, same hometown as Brandon Picard. Perlat keeping a watchful eye on the Belarusian center, Denis Zaitchik. Ledkov. We've talked about the ice conditions, but he's skating pretty well out there. Sends a shot to the net front. Nothing for Zaitchik on the rebound. Mack just trying to pop the balloon of pressure that's built up in the Athens ice. Popoff rifles it in. Maya cut out by Patrick Marcinkiewicz. Faked one-timer from Hamilton. Rims it around. Elijah Wilson on hat-trick watch. Head on a swivel for Jake Hamilton. Devin Maya was hot on his heels. Garrett Milan gets it taken away by his former roommate with the Pensacola Ice Flyers in the SPHL. Maya keeps his man to the ice, which draws the boos. Meanwhile, on the other side, Milan attempts the toe drag. Comes back, leaks out of the offensive zone. Here's Jesse Lowell. Carter Shinkarik. Good evasiveness there from Captain Fantastic. Shot turned pass forward into Milan. And an icing against this PD team. We go to the final media timeout of the second period. Athens still holding out for a hero as the 3-goal lead has been restored by the host. It's Athens 1, PD 4.
Farmburger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Four-1 game here. It could be a different outlook at the final horn, but right now the IceCat fans in the building celebrating early. And why not? They are up 4-1 and feeling good. Meanwhile, the Rock Lobsters with no choice but to play like their postseason life is on the line, and that's because it is. Croucher had the more meaningful touch on the face-off, but it's the IceCats who come away with possession. Puck came back, and now Croucher had to reload in the middle zone. It's good puck movement all around from this PD team. Johnson flips it up ahead. Looking for the cut of Phil. Bartuccio Pereira. Once again, another occasion where a player's not really able to get anything on a pass. But Shinkarik does well there. Croucher from the wall. Phil to the circle. Bartuccio Pereira with a giveaway to Patrick Marcinkiewicz, but then wins it back for his team. Easy enough icing call for the officials to make. 2:25 left in the second period. You never say never, no matter what the occasion, but you would really love if you can get another goal here for the Rock Lobsters before the second intermission. Greco uses his hands. Slight deflection from Milan, who's trying to get free from the watchful eye of Popoff. Good little handle at the wall. Falls down behind the net for Maye. Can't ease it to the net front. Greco cross-ice pass to his defensive partner in Maye. Sent out of the zone by the Pee Dee IceCats. Long distance shot from Vadim Frolov, who started the scoring in game one. Lowell trying to stiff arm Bedard away. Greco down to a knee. Once again gloves it down, but it already come back out towards center ice. Here's Ford. Out in front, in all alone, but he's shepherded toward the end boards. Great defensive work from Pee Dee. McPhail quickly in and out of his glove for Michael Greco. Sends it down in search for someone, but it sends it down instead for an icing. .66 remaining in the second period. Here's Joe Mack driving down the Royal Road. Maye fakes a slapper. Doesn't get a ton on the shot, but Joe Mack able to center it for Leafers, who doesn't get any mustard on his effort. And now Athens left somewhat skint in the back once again, but it's overhandled by Drew Welsh. Gullo with a shot. Sticked away by McPhail, and then Maye backhands it down the ice. A late icing here against the Rock Lobsters. Goal in the second period, besides the one that was scored by Garrett Milan to get back within two. Eventually, the 3-goal lead was restored by Elijah Wilson, but with this offensive zone faceoff with 15 seconds left in the middle frame, you would think Pee Dee is the more likely team to add on to their lead, and that one knuckles over the bar from Houston Wilson. 5 seconds remaining. Elijah Wilson on hat trick watch. Bartuccio Pereira will protect the puck without a stick. More and more the physicality builds in this building. I don't think the officials are going to be able to separate him this time. Leafers has lost a helmet as he's tied up with Popoff. Leafers trying to get free, so I think he could send some punches in. "20 minutes gone in the second period and 20 more to go. The Rock Lobsters need to leave it all on the ice like they have so many times this season. They were down a goal coming into the third in last night's game, but the cardiac crustaceans didn't come down the tunnel. Will they do so tonight in the Florence Center? Otherwise, the Athens Rock Lobsters are taking an early exit out of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Before we send you to the intermission, let's take a very quick look at the scores around the rest of the bracket. Looks like the score is remaining the same in Port Huron. 1-1 against the Blue Ridge Bobcats for the Prowlers. And then a 1-0 lead for the Monroe Moccasins at the start of the second. The Rock Lobsters trying to extend their cup run, but unless they get 3 in the next 20 minutes, it's ending at the final horn. We'll see if they're able to at least push it to an overtime, if not score 4 in regulation. It's going to take a Florence miracle, but the Athens Rock Lobsters have pulled off similar feats in the regular season. Luke Croucher had such an amazing start to his rookie season, was one of the big contributors, and he's had perhaps the most speed in his skates over the past couple of nights. I had a chance to talk with him early on about his budding YouTube career, as well as his hot start to the season, and one of my very favorite people to talk to, whether it be on the show or on the bus. We hope you enjoy our conversation on Lobster Tales. Me, Mateen Rad, joined by Luke Croucher early on in the year. Hey there, Crustacean Nation, and welcome back to Lobster Tales on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. It's the go-to way for you fans to learn more about your favorite players. As always, I'm your host, Mateen Rad, and my guest on this episode currently leads Athens in scoring, and he's made the transition from college to the pros look easy. Welcome to the show, Luke Croucher. Thanks so much for joining me, Crouchy.
Thank you, Mateen. I appreciate you having me on the show today. I'm excited to see what this brings.
Of course, man. We got to have you on, especially with the kind of run you're having. We talked about how easy you've made the transition look, but can you tell us firsthand how that step up in competition has felt for you in your first 4 games?
Yeah, I think just being able to build habits and routines is like a big part of what I do. I think that was I think the adjustment, surprisingly, college versus pro, the game slows down a little bit. A lot of people wouldn't realize that. When they come to this level, you expect a lot more because you think it's like pro level, but you don't realize like the guys are a lot smarter. They think the game more, and it's more kind of understanding. How do you adapt to that? How do you think the game more? And that's kind of the step I'm trying to take in my game. Obviously, it helps having a little bit of speed up the middle and on the wings, but nothing but awesome teammates and everything like that. So pretty fun adjustment, honestly, from college to pro.
Whatever line you've been on so far, you've been making important contributions on. Most recently, you've been centering the 2 Russians in Gleb Bandurkin and Danil Glukaryov. How does it feel to be playing between those 2 right now?
It's actually exciting. They play with free will. I think Danny and Gleb are they gel so well together. So it's you're just trying to contribute to what they're doing. They have good chemistry together. They've been absolutely amazing. And I love the fact that they're both players that take risks in their games. I think a lot of players, even minor hockey players, just don't take enough risks. And that's why they don't see rewards. And they're fun to be around because they're so creative, and it helps me keep my free will as well to do great things. So I think all of a sudden we just kind of fell into line with each other against, I believe, Pee Dee there this past weekend, and it just worked and it sparked, and it's something that's positive.
Yeah, it seems like they're getting in good spots, and you're doing a really good job of finding them right now. Going back to the beginning of this year, what can you tell us on how the opportunity with the Rock Lobsters emerged for you? I do know that you and Coach Rutz kind of go way back a little bit.
Yeah. So Coach Rutz and I, we never really crossed paths with each other at any points, but we were kind of embedded into organizations at one point. I believe it was the Oakville Blades, and he also knew past coaches of mine when I played Junior B for the Hamilton Kilty Bees in the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey League. And it was just kind of it's just how hockey goes. Like one phone call here, one phone call there. He made a phone call to Newman, and then he realized that I was at Newman. He made the connection. He tried to get 2 of our players from Newman down there. Unfortunately, only one of us got down here in the end, and I've been just fortunate that this connection's happened. I was honestly debating hanging up the boots this year, and I'm actually just thrilled I just took kind of the opportunity to do this and just try it out and see what happens. And now we're here.
I think even more opportunities are going to come for you down the line as well, Crouchy, with the way you've been playing. It might not just be on the ice either. You might need to teach me how to get some more YouTube views and subscribers, man. You have nearly 3,000 subs, more than 100,000 views on your YouTube channel, where you've documented what it's like to be a D3 hockey player at Newman University.
Yeah.
I was curious, what inspired you to put your story out there like that?
I think there's a lot in the hockey process nobody sees. I think when you become a pro, I see NHL players, and I always was like, why can't I just see what they do every day to get to where they are? And I didn't know whether I was going to continue playing or not. That's why I thought it was important to make sure I just documented the process too. There's actually 5 to 10 videos that are unseen, that are unedited and like ready to come out. So there's a lot more coming this way. I just took my senior year to just enjoy it, not worry about all the, the sparkly stuff, I guess. And yeah, it was just kind of like figuring out what, if I was a kid who was 10 years old again, what would I want to see? And I think a lot of it actually came from my roommates pushing me. I'll shout out my old goaltender, Cole DeFazio. He pushed me into actually creating YouTube and starting YouTube because he saw I used to watch a bunch of goalies who used to make content and Dana Life content. And now I see like Willie Stiles making Dana Life videos on YouTube. It's kind of cool that it all emerged like this, but I feel like this is just the beginning now, and now I can document my pro journey. So it only piggybacks onto other things and hopefully greater things to come.
Well, it's good to hear that some of your teammates were motivating you, because I watched that first episode you ever did, and your teammates were kind of busting your chops at the time, telling you not to bring that to the game.
Right now, pregame, why not? What are they going to do? And if I score today, like 3 goals, what are you going to say? Okay. Then we're okay.
Were you ever discouraged from continuing on, or did you just not let that kind of stuff bother you?
Obviously, as much as people would like to say, hey, try and like cancel out the noise, it's hard to do it all the time. There's going to be players, teammates, coaches, whatever it is, has positive and negative views. And it's just realizing that is, I think one perspective I had early on in the journey was like, is your regret going to be bigger, or is your fear of judgment going to be bigger? And once I kept reminding myself of that, it's like, okay, just pull out the camera. Nobody's going to care at the end of the day. They're going to chirp you day one, and then they'll realize that it's actually legit when it goes off. So it's trying to getting over that barrier, getting comfortable in front of the camera. It's like they don't see themselves doing it. That's why they kind of push off their own limitations to you or limiting beliefs to you. So that was kind of a big learning curve to me. So now that I'm kind of a little bit more established, it's been helpful, and everyone here has been super supportive of the process and encouraging. And I'm a guy who's very shy when it comes to behind the closed door. So I try to not to get in anyone's way and just document what I can do and what people see of me. So
no, I think that's a really, really healthy mindset and perspective to have. And I think inquiring minds want to know, are there any plans for you to continue documenting your journey now as a pro player with the Rock Lobsters?
Yeah, so I do have videos. So just like I've got 5 to 10 videos, college embedded videos, I did record our weekend in Indiana. I mean, some of our players might have not even known I've been recording in Indiana. I did let the boys know. I plan on recording this weekend, our upcoming weekend, our back-to-back against Carolina or Twin City here. So hopefully I can get some cool footage of the rink and stuff like that, and just walking around, seeing fans, and yeah, but it's trying to find a healthy medium of like, when do you bring out your phone? When do you not bring out the phone? Obviously, I'd love to have a camera crew following me around, but again, you don't want it to be a distraction either. So that's a big learning curve too, that I kind of have to continue.
I mean, that sums up a lot of what you do off the ice. Let's get back to what's on the ice. And Crouch, keep in mind, I've only watched you play now for 240 minutes. But if someone were to ask me what I've seen from you on the ice, I would say, I bet he's really annoying to play against. The way you hunt pucks, you lead the forecheck. Even when you're pushed down to the ice, you get back up, the puck is still on the blade of your stick. I really don't know how you do it. How would you describe the game that you bring to the ice in your own words?
Cool question. I mean, I got a mix of, if I were to imagine a player, I imagine 4 players. I loved watching Mitch Marner when he played for the Maple Leafs. I love watching William Nylander, just his skill and his poise, and Nikita Kucherov. Those guys I aspire to play like, that skill, but I also have the grit of wanting to be like Brad Marchand. Everybody hates playing against him, but everyone loves it when he plays for them, plays with them. So just having a combination of that and just realizing that, hey, you don't know when your last game's going to be, so you might as well put it on the line when you can. I know that I learned a lot in college. We worked like dogs, and shout out to my coach at Newman, Mike Hedden. He taught me a lot for the 2 years I had him, or a year and a half I had him there. And I'm hoping I can just continue to keep the ball rolling here. So that's kind of a description of my game, if any.
It might be presumptive of me, but I think if there was one person on the team that had a similar game to you, it might be Garrett Milan. I mean, an MVP last year. Right now, you're getting off to a hot start. Has there been anything that you've tried to pick up from Millsy's game since you two have started to share the ice?
Yeah, for sure. I see him, and we look. I'm not saying we look alike. I'm saying we play probably pretty similar games, and both being very. We've been chirped before. He says he's still taller than me, or says I'm the midget on the team. But it's good to know guys who've been successful. Like, he played at St. Cloud for, I think, 4 years there. He's played his time in the Coast or the SP, and he's won in different places. And I always try to pick guys' brains, or even just watch them on the ice, what their habits are, what they do with the puck. How do they move off of the puck is more important for me, is seeing what their habits are like. And then just when I get the chance to talk to them, just pick their brains of what their experience was like. What would they have done differently? What would have they continued to keep doing? What would they, still have done today? And yeah, I think even Nielsey too, Eric Nielsey, who we've acquired too, Shinks, older guys that have just been through the process. I was just on a car ride home with Joey. I still don't know how to pronounce his last name, but Coley. All great guys on our team, but cool to pick their brains just to see what their process is like and what their perspective's been, because they've been through the whole process. So just continuing to learn. I think if you just be a student of the game, that's all you can ask for. Perfection or progress over perfection.
I would tell you that it's Kolatarsi, but I feel like I just ask guys, hey, is this how you pronounce your name? And they just say, yeah, no matter what I say. So I couldn't say for sure if that's the case. But
right.
Coming off this past weekend, you're just coming off your first ever home game at Athens Ford Arena. I know there was the scrimmage a few weeks before that, but different atmosphere, of course. What are your first impressions on the atmosphere, the fans, the facility, in the building that I call the Tank?
The Tank. I love that. I think that's the first time I've heard that. That's I think it's exactly what it's like to play there. You don't realize you get the SEC type football fans in a hockey arena. We went to Kentucky the other day, or the game Georgia versus Kentucky 2-3 weeks back before we went to Indiana. And to see 93,000 in that stadium, or however many there was too many to see.
It's crazy.
We almost get that mentality inside the rink. So even if it's just a stick off the glass, people are still learning the game of hockey down here, and just everything that we do is exciting for them. And that's huge for us to know that we have that energy.
That's a little bit of the here, the now, and the future. Let's get back more to your roots. I knew you grew up in Ancaster, Ontario, within the city of Hamilton. I mean, you already talked a little bit about Marner and Nylander. Does that mean you most likely grew up a Leafs fan?
100%. And don't get me wrong, I love Austin Matthews. But yeah, through and through. I used to be a Patty Kane fan. Loved my Sidney Crosby and Alex Ovechkin growing up, of course. Used to be a Washington fan growing up just because I love scoring goals. And but had to bring it back to the roots at one point or another.
I mean, that kind of answered my next question, as if there was a player that you watched growing up. Sid the Kid, Ovi, obviously, those are really good answers. But otherwise, childlike instincts. Halloween night coming up on our Friday night game. Were there any memorable Halloween costumes for you, either as a kid or a college player? Maybe you went as Sid the Kid for Halloween one year.
No, you know what? It'd be funny, a hockey player going as a hockey player, right? Never got the chance to do that. I'm going to be honest with you. Most nights in Halloween, I think I can only really remember a few. Maybe I was a Power Ranger once, but most Halloween nights, we'd be either practicing or playing. That's just how it's like in Canada. Halloween's not treated as a vacation. I do remember just a photo of more of my parents. They used to be M&Ms together. I think that was cool. And having a long distance girlfriend, I bring that back, but that's about it. Nothing crazy. Not that I can remember of.
I'm trying to decide whether or not I'm going to have a costume in the booth. I don't know. I don't know if it's worth spending the money on a costume just to have.
I'm seeing anyone wants to go lobsters with me.
If players showed up to the rink as lobsters Friday night, that'd be memorable.
And then I'll go out in the city of Athens after, and they'll know the lobsters are out.
Everybody will know. Everybody will know. Luke, we're going to play a quick game together. What I want to do is ask you some quick rapid-fire questions. You're going to answer those questions with the names of one of your teammates. I'm calling this one Lobster Roll Call. First one I want to ask you, if one of your teammates were to make day-in-the-life content just like you do, whose content would be the most entertaining?
Entertaining. All right, my roomie said I should shout him out today, so I'll say Carter McPhail. I'm thinking about doing a day-in-the-life just with him, watching my goalie day in a life. Maybe flip the camera one day. So I'm going to go with him.
No stranger to YouTube content himself. Next question, who's the loudest guy in the locker room?
Loudest guy in the locker room. We got a lot of vocal guys. I was going to say local. We got no local guys, but a lot of vocal guys. There's got to be a battle between maybe...
Michael Greco's got to be up there, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say Greco, Garce, Millsy. They're all in the mix. I wouldn't say Carter McPhail's far off either. They love to chop it up.
It's nice to see that McPhail isn't afraid of using his voice in his first few days as a pro. Who has the messiest locker in the locker room?
Now that's a strict policy in our room. So if anyone's got a messy locker, you're getting fined for that. So I'm going to say no one's really got a messy locker room. We keep the standard pretty clean. I'm not going to throw anyone under the bus either. So
all right, good on you. Who's the class clown of the team?
Willie for sure. We love Willie. Absolutely awesome.
The best.
Yeah, there's just no doubt. He's just awesome to be around.
Who's got the best drip?
Best drip. First guy who comes to mind is Picard.
Quick look at the bracket as it stands here in the FPHL. The Port Huron Prowlers have just taken a lead at 2-1 at home against the Blue Ridge Bobcats as they hope to cement their spot in the second round of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs. Right now it looks like the series between the Monroe Moccasins and the Columbus River Dragons is destined for Game 3 in Monroe. Meanwhile, the here and now for the Athens Rock Lobsters, there is still some distance to be made up for them to come back in this game and force a Game 3 tomorrow at 4:05 at Aikens Ford Arena. But it can still be done, and that is the hope. For those of you who are just joining us, this is your site of the Florence Center. The momentum from last night's third period carried over into the first tonight for the IceCats as Pee Dee scored 3 with more than 5 minutes to play of the first 20. Elijah Wilson converted on his own takeaway. Houston Wilson got 1 to go on a redirect, and Drew Welsh willed the puck past Carter McPhail on the rebound. Chaos at the crease paid off for the Crustaceans in the second period as Garrett Milan scored his first since his injury he sustained in late March. However, Elijah Wilson restored the 3-goal lead for Pee Dee 3.5 minutes later on his second of the night. 20 minutes, and it's all on the line. You might be down 3, but you put everything in the rearview mirror. You put the last 60 minutes played in the rearview mirror. There is still a game to be played, and there is still a game that has the potential to be won. But you can't go ahead and defeat yourself mentally before you give yourselves the chance to win with 20 minutes on the clock. After all, they call them the cardiac crustaceans for a reason, right? But the rally towels are spinning here at the Florence Center. Their first year of existence, just like Athens last season. They're trying to win their first ever playoff series. Athens was ousted in the first round. Can they keep the deja vu from happening with 20 minutes on the clock, 20 minutes to be played on their season unless the Crustaceans score 3? Calgin rifles it in. Stopped by Colgan, left in behind. Pop off out of the corner, and it comes out into the middle ice. Devin Maye over to Michael Greco. Joe Mack cross ice feed. Michael Greco tries to chase it down as he shoves Pop off down to the ice. Sent down a good ways, and that's an early icing with 35 seconds gone. Ford will take the face-off here, but this line is still together of Lowell and Milan on Porto's wings. Gullo back to the inboards. Shinkarik on the pinch, gets past him. We've got another icing in quick succession from Pee Dee. Maybe many teams didn't give the Rock Lobsters a chance when they went into Monroe with the Continental Division at stake and the team being down many players, as it still somewhat is, getting back Malik Johnson and Philip Virgili from suspension and Garrett Milan back from injury. With the absences, though, of Gleb Van Durken, Daniil Glukarioff, and Eric Neely, there's probably still around 150-plus points missing from the roster. But maybe many fans didn't give the Pee Dee IceCats a chance to win this series, and not just win this series, commanded it like they have through 5 periods played. Forward to Perlat. Might have got blocked by his own man, Alexander Ledkoff, on another breakaway to seal this game, and he might have just done so. If they name an MVP to this series, I don't think there's many doubts that it's that man right there. First 4-goal lead of the night for the Pee Dee IceCats, and the difficult has just gotten harder for the Rock Lobsters. And it's still difficult to put into words maybe both sides of this conundrum. Not just the execution from the Pee Dee IceCats, but the somewhat lack thereof in this game for the Rock Lobsters, in this series for the Rock Lobsters. And now here comes Patrick Marcinkiewicz. Scoreline might not be settled just yet, but Pee Dee's focuses now go to put on a show. Blast over the bar by Patrick Marcinkiewicz. Virgili gets a rebound on a pass right back to the Swede. Malik Johnson now deputizing for a defenseman as he chases down Patrick's. The Rock Lobsters had a heavy advantage in the regular season series between these two teams. And I don't think it was ever out of the question that Pee Dee would be competitive in this series, but it really hasn't been competitive in this series. It has been all Pee Dee over 40-plus minutes in tonight's game, and then almost another goal to add to the dagger from Gullo. I mean, Gullo is a great example of a microcosm of how this series has worked out for the Pee Dee IceCats, a player, a forward, who had not scored a goal since February. Gets his first since then in last night's game, that first in the third period, which really collapsed in quick on the Athens Rock Lobsters. Shinkarik from a tight angle. Frolov and Ledkoff on another break. Athens gets away with one there. Maye lofts it ahead, gets it through Timur Razilov. Shinkarik rides the line. Milan cross ice forward, shoots in and out of the glove of Colgan. Shinkarik on the rebound wide. Lowell from the wall, spins out. Kolatarsi bouncing off of Zaitchek, gets taken back to the glass by the Belarusian. Milan able to win a scrum for possession of the puck. Lowell up ahead for Ford. Handle of the rubber on his tape didn't last long for Athens number 25. Malik Johnson with a poke check, almost came right back to his face under the visor there. McPhail covers with 15 and a half minutes remaining. Wilson with a one-timer off the left circle. Johnson, good little touch pass to find Luke Croucher. Team needs a spark. It might be Croucher, a dangle dazzler of a goal from Luke Croucher. A little bit of CPR from the rookie, and that's one of the goals of the year to do it. Still a long way to go, but what a goal to bring Athens back in the fight by a margin. Luke Croucher with his first point of the playoffs. And now here's Paralat trying to put some peril on Colgan as this effort traverses through the crease. Hamilton, the furthest IceCat back, snaps his twig. Johnson got back in time, and then a shot blasted by Mack over the iron. Welsh, adept enough to get it through Virgili, and Johnson tracks it all the way back. And it's icing against Pee Dee. It will still be a commercial timeout, though, before we have the offensive zone face-off for the Rock Lobsters. 2 goals so far in the third period, both coming from rookies. Legkoff less than a minute in, and then Luke Croucher uses a claw to scratch one back.
Hi, welcome to Chandler Jewelers. What would you like to learn today?
Looking for a new watch, something a little more fast, more precise.
Yeah, that one looks like it's seen better days. And let's get you something that can keep up.
Oh snap, I got a game to get to. Woo, plenty of time to spare.
There is life for the Lobsters, despite the fact that they continue to have to chase this game. Still a 3-goal deficit after Legkoff made it a 4-goal deficit less than a minute into the third. Luke Croucher with one of the best highlight reel goals of the year. Zychek. We talked about his face-off ability earlier on in the game. Back-to-back icings for the IceCats. Officials not happy with the initial face-off. Milan is trying to take it up ahead. Welsh into pop-off. Bounces off a check from Lowell. Maye off the boards of his bench. Welsh driving, and there's a whistle on an offsides. Draws the ire of both the public address announcer, and the fans here. Joe Mack drives up ahead. Dom Della Savita. No icing against Pee Dee this time around. Mai trying to shake it free from the wall. Leafers with Shinkarik to his left. Shinkarik being deployed more as a forward here. Calgin centers it. Leafers with a couple bites of the cherry, just wide on Colgan. Parallel right under my nose here. Leafers snaps one. Razilov with a blocked shot. And then the Russian lofts it up ahead. And it's going to be another icing against Pee Dee. Somewhat ideal for the Lobsters to have these consecutive icings. There's been quite a few of them from Pee Dee in this third period. Gives you many chances to draw something up in an offensive zone faceoff, but when you've got a guy like Dennis Zajac on the ice, very difficult to win faceoffs in big scenarios. Johnson, good play. Croucher almost gets his second. Colgan just stands tall, not too reactive in the blue paint. Colgan thought he had it. Bartuccio Pereira put enough speed on that one, but Colgan still able to make the save. Bartuccio Pereira. Pee Dee putting themselves in front of the Athens shots, just as they did pretty much all game long on Friday. Croucher was looking for the cut from Paralat, but it reached Colgan instead of the Saskatchewan native. Twelve and a half minutes remaining. The Rock Lobsters have been the better shooting team, but not the more efficient shooting team. They also logged more shots in last night's contest as well. A shot right out of the faceoff. Kolatarsi pops a one-timer after the faceoff win from Milan. Popoff rides the wall, and it's perfect to Patrick's Marcinkiewicz. McPhail closes the pads and protects the 5-hole. Cruelly off the skate of Lowell as Popoff on the dump in. Another cruel bounce, and that one somehow stays out, but only temporarily. The Pee Dee IceCats have more than likely put this game away. Might have to look into the history books after this one, but not sure that any team in Rock Lobster history has put 14 goals against Athens in a two-game span. Golo sails one out of play. The Rock Lobsters will have a chance once again to bring the deficit back within 3 on the power play, as Gullo will sit, I believe, for delay of game. Or really not. Felt that was pretty straightforward, but Gullo stays on the ice here. Miguel Diaz, captain of this new franchise, was also a captain for the Motor City Rockers last season. Rumors are that Motor City is coming back to the FPHL next season. Leifers trying to get to a juicy rebound that Calgin prompted. And now Leifers has been a big propagator of pushing and shoving on the Athens side in this game. Changes in personnel for both teams. Brendan Colgan getting rightfully cheered by the fans here. They're chanting his name. You can't count out what he's done in this series either. Has kept this dynamic Athens Rock Lobster offense to just 4 goals. Shot from a high percentage area. And McPhail stops Ledkoff this time. Colgan with 45 saves on 47 shots last night. Right now he's got 31 on 33. Luke Croucher wins the faceoff and then gets on his horse. Johnson from the wall after the stick work from Brendan Colgan. Froloff plays it to himself off some lumber. Froloff centers it. Shot. Good block shot there from Athens. Hamilton working his way up the wall from the left side of the point toward the end boards. Paralat with the intervention. Another offsides whistle, this time against Athens. A little more than half of this third period yet to play. Athens needs to average about a goal every 2.5 minutes to send this game to an overtime. A nice little shove-in effort at point-blank range from Elijah Wilson. No doubt he would love to get a chance to get a postseason hat trick in this game. Rimmed around. Wilson lets it run for Wilson. Bedard took a redirect. Patrick Marcinkiewicz. Bartuccio Pereira with a crunching hit into the wall. Alexander Ledkoff gestures towards the officials. The JBP Express just wide of Colgan. My whistles one. Leifers got a piece that took it wide. Jesse Lowell had to be careful, and he was. Gets wiped out there, though, by Noah Robinson. Penalty on the play. Looks like maybe a whistle, but no penalty as Gullo gets back up to his feet. We'll keep the show here. I'll tell you about some of our sponsors. This broadcast brought to you by Thornton Brothers, your one-stop source for janitorial safety and packaging solutions. From restroom soap and protective eyewear to butcher paper and more, Thornton Brothers, they've got you covered. If you want to move better, feel stronger, live healthier, join Athens Health and Fitness. personal training, results-driven programs, and a community that pushes you. You can check them out at athenshealthandfitness.com today. Make your home feel brand new. Dalton Carpet One has the flooring that you've been dreaming of. Visit DaltonCarpet1.com today and step on to style. This Pee Dee IceCat fan base has been loud front to back here. As they hope to see the closing out of their first home playoff win in franchise history, first year of franchise history. Overpass to Milan by Greco. Robinson kicks it to himself, hard off the inboards. McPhail on a swivel. Glove down. Jesse Lowell drives up ahead, but it takes an awkward pop off the ice. Carter Shinkarik finds it at his feet, then finds Ford. Ford finds the right circle. Ford finds Colgan, and the net is off. Popoff collided with Johnson into the crease and past the netting. This line of Croucher, Johnson, and Philip Virgili. Croucher has the last Athens goal in this game, and what a beauty it was. Shinkarik working it down low. Croucher once again blocked as the IceCats plug the channels. Croucher with a good recovery run and some defensive work as well. Backhands one. It would have been a tremendous effort to beat Colgan in the corner. Eight minutes left, potentially on Athens season. And there is the goal to make it 7-2. Don't adjust your TV sets, your laptops, your screens. It's not a replay of last night's game. The IceCats have scored 7 yet again, and they have 7 minutes and 49 seconds to replicate their 8-goal night from last night. You can talk about what the Lobsters have done and haven't done in this series, but statement made by this Pee Dee team. Brandon Picard on the ice. One of his few shifts of the night. Colgan still fighting hard in the crease to protect his hard work of the night. Calgin can't settle it. Patrick Marcinkiewicz floats it towards Houston Wilson. Was a little bit too late of a pass. Joe Mack gets it back into the middle zone, but here's Patrick Marcinkiewicz and Wilson again. Great block shot there by Bartuccio Pereira. Cole Tarsi, good poke check on Robinson. Jesse Lowell, shimmy shakes, shot, saved by Colgan. Stretch pass, touch from Golo. Johnson on the forecheck, beats the icing. Croucher spins from the wall. He's found his feet more in the third period, but loses out on possession. Pee Dee players are more than content to just let this game continue to play out. But it seems like the fans in the building want to see some more goals up on the scoreboard. Relentless is Froloff on Croucher. Shinkarik protects and finds his good friend in Philip Virgili. Still with the Swede, Johnson centers it. Put out by one of the many Russians on this Pee Dee team and sent down on a clearance. Another icing for Pee Dee. Greco. Was a nice initial little toe drag from the defenseman. John Calgin. Midseason acquisition for the Rock Lobsters. And his best weekend of the year in the Continental Division clinching series win against the Monroe Moccasins last weekend. And while it was just last week, it feels somewhat so far in our memories away from what we're seeing right now. So much momentum and goodwill built based on the boys coming in as underdogs in that series against Monroe and then coming up against the underdogs in the Pee Dee IceCats here. And not just losing, not just a game being lost on a competitive edge as we see Croucher stopped by Colgan. Croucher has been one of the bright spots, if not the bright spot for Athens in this third period. One-timed off the wall. Rims around the top of the glass. Garrett Milan waits for help, finds Lowell right into the midsection of Colgan. The Pee Dee IceCats have embodied this underdog mentality well. No-look pass from Welsh, Patrick Marcinkiewicz, and it is a perfect replication of the 8-2 win from last night. Patrick Marcinkiewicz waved goodbye to the Athens bench, and he'll sit in the penalty box for it. No, he's just been ejected from the game. He'll likely be a face that the Lobsters didn't want to see in the handshake line anyway. And the Florence Center is rocking. Good amount of traveling fans for the IceCats in last night's game at Athens Ford Arena. Of course, many more Pee Dee fans tonight here in the Florence Center, and both were treated to an absolute show by their team. It's not the final horn yet, but Pee Dee IceCats more or less celebrating as if the final horn has already sounded. The spoils have already been taken. Don't think there's any doubt about that. It looks like the goal is being reviewed for goaltender interference. I just think of so many of the feelings that I felt at Athens Ford Arena last season when the Rock Lobsters lost to the Columbus River Dragons in Game 3 of that series, as we see the goal to make it 8-2 waved off, so the scoreline will drip back down to 7. But so much of the feeling that I felt was that this was not the way it was supposed to go. But ultimately, you can't rely on what you've done in the regular season to be the big reason that pushes you forward to playoff success, to postseason success. And they were two very successful regular seasons for the Athens Rock Lobsters. But 2 series in the quarterfinals of the Commissioner's Cup where they take early exits. Here's Philip Virgili on the backhand. Great defensive work there by Hamilton. Croucher battling. Virgili setting up for the one-timer through traffic. Batted at on the rebound by Maye. Carter Shinkarik wheeling around to the top of the slot. Takes an interesting path back off the glass towards the net front. Croucher fakes a slapper, leaves his man on his backside. Croucher with a diving poke check pass to Carter Shinkarik, just can't get the puck free. Noah Robinson unable to cash in on the pass from Drew Welsh. Croucher rides the line, but it came out. We go to the final commercial timeouts of this game, and unfortunately, likely the final one of the season. We'll recap it all after the final horn, but there's 2:29 left. It's Athens 2, Pee Dee 7.
As a hockey player, my health is everything to me. When I got injured,
I didn't just worry about missing games. I worried about my future in the sport I love. From the moment I met you and your team at Piedmont Athens Regional, you gave me confidence. Your expertise, your care, your support, it all reassured me from the very start. Because of you, I've been able to recover, rebuild, and get back to playing the sport I love. Can't thank you enough for what you've done for me and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dream alive. Thanks to Dr. Graff and Piedmont Athens Regional, I get to keep playing the game I love.
I will send you off with a post-game message. There's still 2:29 to be played here, but this is a game that is all over, more or less a 7-2 scoreline. Two great offensive nights for the Pee Dee IceCats, and we'll see if Brendan Colgan gets his plaudits in the 3 stars of the night, because he has been sensational in this playoff series. We talked about, we being me and Tom Callahan, broadcaster for the Pee Dee IceCats, about that Gary Graham was going to have the more difficult decision to make over who was going to go into crease for his team as opposed to Garrett Rutledge. And yet, Colgan, despite big performances from Parker Rutherford when he entered the fray, Colgan came in game 1 and has been locked down in this playoff series. Colatarsi able to shake a man off. Calgin dumps in, takes it around the player in blue and black. Miguel Diaz up the wall and the glass. Glove down by Greco. Virgili stops it at the blue paint. Calgin, a slight redirect, comes right down to the skates of Miguel Diaz. Garrett Milan building speed. He had the first goal for Athens to make it a 3-1 game, and that's as close as Athens really got all night long after the 3-goal first period from Pee Dee. In the final minute of play here, Johnson to Ford. A late empty net for the Rock Lobsters. The IceCats showing a little bit of an under-cat mentality, if you will. They rock the Lobsters in the quarterfinals, and Athens' season is over. Big plaudits necessary for this Pee Dee IceCat team. again, them winning this series was not out of the question when you took a look at how much they improved in the second half of the season. It showed in the season series against the Rock Lobsters as well. But to go ahead and score a total of 15 goals across 2 games and then let up only a total of 4 across 2 hours played as well. Don't think many could have predicted this series going the way it did. And outside of your screen, as obviously the PD broadcast is going to show their team celebrating, you have the Athens Rock Lobsters on the other side of the ice, hugging each other as they share the ice for the final time this year. Including staff like Micah Swift-Taylor, equipment manager June Hashiwaki, of course, head coach Garrett Rutledge. And the handshake line has begun at center ice. Perhaps the most animated handshakes and hugs are with former Pee Dee IceCat Matt Sales. He'll have some of the best wishes for his former teammates as they go on to the second round. Well, we have a second. Let's take a quick look at some of the other scorers around the bracket. Looks like Monroe has held on to their 3-0 lead as the third period gets started there. And it looks like the Port Huron Prowlers will be going through to face off against the back-to-back Commissioner's Cup champions, the Binghamton Black Bears, for the second straight season. The Pee Dee IceCats advance here against the Athens Rock Lobsters, the 4th seed going to the next round ahead of the number 1 seed. And it seems likely that they'll have a team that has played 3 games, whoever they face in the next round, as it seems likely that the Monroe Moccasins will tie up the series at 1 apiece against the Columbus River Dragons. And once again, it's hard to not have my attentions turn to the many players on this team, but especially the veterans who were hoping for something different this year. To do something that they didn't accomplish in the last campaign and get the top spot in the Continental Division, to have it all crumble down cruelly. And the handshake line has commenced here. I'm going to look slightly silly here on our face cam analysis as I'm in a high top chair, so forgive me for that, as I will appear to be looking down on you, but I could only instead look you eye to eye and thank all of you who have tuned in all season long, who have consistently come up to me, whether it be in the building or whether it be at team events, who have been so kind and courteous time and time again. There's no doubt about it. You guys are the very, very best fans. Crustacean Nation is a representation of the very best fans, not just in the FPHL, but in minor league hockey as a whole. And it's so difficult to see the way that this has gone down, as I believed, the players believed, and I'm sure you believed as well, that it would be different from last year. But the Rock Lobsters instead will bow out of the Commissioner's Cup playoffs in the quarterfinals for the second straight season. They will look ahead to the offseason to rebuild. But again, it just plays out the same memories that I had in my head from last year's exit, that it wasn't supposed to go this way. It wasn't meant to go this way. But unfortunately, the game of hockey has to have a winner and has to have a loser. The Pee Dee IceCats came in here into their home ice and battled hard. I want to thank a couple of extra individuals while I have the platform here. I want to thank my fiance, Paige. I so can't wait to get married to you in the summer, and I'm sorry for how long I've been away from home this year to miss something like your bridal shower today. These are the things that cause me great pain in my life, but you have let me in large regard to live out my dream and have my dream job here. And it has been such a heck of a ride that I hope I can come back and do next season. You never know what the offseason might bring. I want to thank Stephen Turner. The show would not look anywhere near as good as it does because of you. You have worked so tirelessly to give us an elite, top-level, professional look, and so much of that is because of what you put into the product. And I also want to thank Steven Self, my tech wizard, who has been able to do something that no other team in the FPHL has been able to do, and that has streamlined what the Scorebug experience is in this league. And of course, I want to thank Scott Hull. Scott, you gave me the opportunity, the chance to live out my dream in the Classic City, and that dream has just been made even more of a fantasy because of the amount of people in this fan base, in this organization. And no matter what, no matter how this exit went or how this season ended, I feel extremely lucky, and I feel everyone should feel extremely lucky for the people that are involved with this team, from the very top and to the people who come out to the games and you spend your hard-earned money to come and watch your favorite team play. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Unfortunately, the show ends a little bit earlier than we expected. Big thank you to all of you. I can't thank you enough, and I can't wait to see you in the off-season and give you my thanks face-to-face. The Athens Rock Lobster season comes to a close here after a 7-2 loss to the Pee Dee IceCats, who advanced to the next round after sweeping the Athens Rock Lobsters. Thank you once again so much. We hope we see you in the Classic City soon enough. Keeping a watchful eye out. Some special things coming in the offseason, no doubt.